Hi guys, so I'm here with another video sharing some commission work. I was asked to create 5 cards for Craft Essential series and it's number 175, which includes a Crafter's Companion card making kit or craft kit, and these are the colors that I was asked to use. I hope you can pick up. You can see this is Christmas cards, so it's very non-traditional Christmas colors, which I absolutely love. And I have to focus on heat embossing techniques using the kit. So I'm going to show you first of all what we have in this kit. So we have this A5 stamp set. You can see there's 18 different stamps in this, including some sentiments saying warm wishes, have yourself a merry little Christmas, Christmas cheer, the 12 days of Christmas, happy Christmas, and the most wonderful time of the year. So real nice, very generic sentiments for Christmas. And we also have 12 images to correspond to the 12 days of Christmas: a partridge in a pear tree, the French hen, the calling birds, the swans, geese, 5 golden rings, and so on and so on. There's the little 2 turtle doves. How cute are they? So this is the stamp set that I've got to work with. I also have an embossing folder, a 6x4 embossing folder portraying, which I assume is a partridge in a pear tree. So this is what I've got to work with. I really love using embossing folder with heat embossing techniques lately, so this is very exciting. And I also have a 2-piece die set, a bow with an outline die, and then I also have this detailed like a filigree type of bow. There you can see it much better in there. So this is the die set that I have. And we also have a paper pad. Now I'm going to show you the paper pad, but I'm not going to be using this obviously because it does not work very well with my colors. At least I don't think at this point that I will be using it, but they are gorgeous papers, again corresponding to the 12 days of Christmas, the bird in the pear tree. And then we have double-sided papers obviously, and this gorgeous snowflakey theme. Like, you look at this and you know it was by Crafter's Companion. So we have the turtle doves, we have the French hens, and not really know all of these. I think that's calling birds, the 5 golden rings, and the colors are gorgeous, real nice and traditional on this one, unlike the color theme that I was given. So that's why I can't see me reaching for these papers, but I'll see as I go on. So we have the swans, we have the, no, so that's the geese, is it? The geese, and then we have the swans. We have the, is that the ladies dancing or maids milking? Maids milking, I think. The milk buckets there. Yeah, there's the ladies dancing. And then have the lords a leaping, I think, is it? And you can just see how lovely. And then we have some sentiments and toppers as well that you can just cut out. There's some more in there. They are quite pretty. I love this here. I love the colors on this one. I don't think I have purple in my color scheme. It's gorgeous, this paper here. And then we have some more of these. So if you like the 12 Days of Christmas song, I think this would be perfect for you. I'm chuckling here because, funnily enough, this was what my son was singing all winter now, the 12 Days of Christmas song. It was so random for him to pick it up from some, but it was very cute. I'll try. So we have some more sentiments in here. And again, the different ones. And some more in the back. So yeah, this is a gorgeous paper pad, which I don't think I'll be able to use, but I will go ahead and use all these elements to create 5 cards using heat embossing techniques. Yeah, I think this will be challenging with these images, but I'll come back and I'll show you what I made at the very end. Okay, so the 5 cards using the whole of the kit, showcasing heat embossing techniques from beginners to intermediate levels. The first card I created is this square top folding card. This one measures 6 by 6 inches. I started off with this panel. This started off as a white piece of card measuring 5 3/4 of an inch square. I stamped and white heat embossed 9 of these stamps, and then I ink blended on top of that yellow, orange and pink inks, Distress Oxide inks. Then using a microfiber gauze or a paper towel, I rubbed away all the excess ink, revealing the gorgeous crisp white images in there. And then I inked up and gold heat embossed the edges of a 5 by 7/8 of an inch, and I just used gold, as it's the polished gold wow embossing powder, and I layered all these on top of each other. Oh, and I also added some metallic watercolor splatter. I don't know if you can pick up on camera in there, that gorgeous shine all over that background there. It's metallic watercolor paint. And then on a piece of vellum, which I just tore or ripped to about a 1 inch strip, I stamped the 12 days of Christmas using the same polished gold embossing powder. I also, with the same gold one, stamped and watercolored using Distress Oxide inks these three images. And then I just fussy cut them and I arranged them into that lovely little arrangement in there. I added some blue rhinestones, and this finishes off the first card. I think it turned out really pretty. I love the colors, it's really happy. I do love using unusual colors for Christmas cards, and this one I can definitely say is very unusual. I love how it turned out, just so happy, so colorful and cheerful. So this is card number 1. For card number 2, I have a 5 by 7 inch landscape orientation card. So I made the bow the main image on this one. I cut it from white card and the outline as well. And then on the detailed die cut, I ink blended yellow with pink, and it created that gorgeous orange blend in the middle. I heat embossed it with clear sparkle embossing powder. You can see all the gorgeous sparkle and the shine in there. And then I cut 2 strips of cards to 3/4 of an inch, and I ink blended just orange onto those, arranged them as a little gift in there, and I added this bow up on foam pads. I stamped and colored in with the brush markers by Crafter's Companion these 2 little images, and then I heat embossed those. You can see the shine in there just with plain clear embossing powder. Then I added a little hole in them just with my pokey tool to create like little charms, and I added some metallic thread in there just coming from underneath the bow, and I did fix these into place. I didn't want them to be dangling all over my card. I stamped warm wishes, and this is a little cut. I cut this into tag shape, and I added a little larger layer from blue card, the same blue card as I have as a mat in there. And then I just finished off decorating with some rhinestones. I think this absolutely cute. I love making cards decorated as gifts or presents, and this one definitely, I think this was my first idea to make when I seen the kit with the gorgeous bow. This bow die I definitely will be using in my stash, because I love using bow dies and I don't have anything detailed like this. This is the first one, so you will see this bow coming back featured on my cards for this Christmas season coming up. For card number 3, I used the embossing folder that came with the kit, and anything that you can see in there was heat embossed or glittered up. You can see it on the bird. So what I did in here, I ran the cardstock through the embossing folder. Let me give you the measurements of this one. So the whole card measures 4 by 6 inches, and it's a top folding card again. I love using top folding cards. Okay, so the card base is blue card, and then I have a white layer underneath, and then I have this one in here which I heat embossed the edges off with pink embossing powder, and I will show you the embossing powders that I used. And then I have this smallest one, which was a white piece of card, which I ran through the die cutting machine with the embossing folder, and then I've cut it to 3.5 by 5.5 inches. And then I used my brayer to add some Wow embossing ink to the whole panel. Once that was done, I used, and I'm going to grab the embossing powders in here that I used. So the first one I added was the Totally Teal, which is this gorgeous greenish tealish embossing glitter. I'm not sure if you can pick up on all the glittery pieces, but this lovely sparkle in it. And I sprinkled it all over the surface. Then I just took a dry brush and I just cleared up all the bird, the pears, and everywhere else that I didn't want that teal embossing powder to go. I heat set it, and then I started using my Wow embossing pen. I added embossing ink with this to all the pears, and I used yellow embossing powder, which is the lemon sorbet, to all those pears. Then for my bird or the partridge, I used raspberry, which is a lovely pink embossing glitter. Again, there's lovely sparkle to that one as well. And I also added to the tail, which some of it is covered up with the sentiment in there, I used orange. Again, a lovely embossing glitter, orange with some lovely sparkle through it. And did some tumbled glass all around it, and just to add some lovely detail to the bird, to the partridge, and some of the dots in there, I used just a fine tip glue bottle, and this one is a dry clear glue in it, and a sparklicious glitter, which I'm not sure what this one is called. I have to look up, and I will add this in the description. This gorgeous pink, dark pink glitter. For my sentiment, I used the same embossing powder as I used in the background in there, and this one is the Totally Teal. And then I just ink blended some squeezed lemonade all around it, cut it to size, popped it up on foam pads, and I just finished decorating with some pink rhinestones. So there's a lot going on in this one in terms of making it. I think this one took me quite a bit to do. So this card was quite technical to make, and it took me quite a while cleaning up all the areas where I didn't want certain powders to go and all. It took me quite a bit, but I think it was quite worth it. There's so much lovely texture, not only visual, but you can even feel the texture from the embossing, and then the heat embossing, and then the added glitter in there. This card is definitely very different from what I've ever made before, and I love how it turned out. I don't even know if the camera shows how gorgeous and textured this really in real life is. So this is card number 3. Card number 4, I made a circle card. And this one is, I think it was 5 1/4 of an inch. Yeah, 5 1/4, and I just used circle nesting die set that I have, created a white card base. I cut a little away from the back there in the bottom just to make sure that it stands up nice and it doesn't start rolling. So the embossing powder on this one I used is the gosh, I have so many of them out here, is the Silver Bells embossing glitter. Now I'm going to show you. This is silver but has that gorgeous holographic sparkle right through it, all the different colors, and I love using this combined with my holographic cardstock, which you can see the silver holographic cardstock that I use. It reflects the colors the same way. So I love combining this with the holographic cardstock, which I added the smaller layer of circle in there. And then I cut an even smaller one out of white cardstock. I inked it all up using the pine needles distress oxide ink, and then I went around with some of the stamps and heat embossed them with the silver bells. As you can see, all gorgeous heat embossing there. It shows silver in there, but in real life you can see lots and lots of colors coming through those as well as the holographic card. So then I cut a smaller circle out with the holographic card, holographic silver card, an even smaller one of white card, and I heat embossed the sentiment, "Have yourself a merry little Christmas" on it using the same embossing powder. Again with the same one, I heat embossed these images. I colored them in using alcohol markers, and these ones were the Spectrum Noir blend and some of the singles, the classic markers. I fussy cut them and I just arranged them, added some foam pad underneath the circles and underneath those images as well. And this finishes this card off, and I think it turned out so pretty. If you've seen my work before, you know that I love heat embossing. I love using the silver holographic cardstock, so to me it was given that I'm going to use it with one of these cards, and the dark green in there I think it just contrasts it really nicely. And finally, for card number 5, I made a DL card, and this one measures 3.5 by 7 inches. So what I done in here, there's actually pictures that I took, because one of these cards I had to accompany with some pictures as I was making it. So for this panel I used 8 different inks. So I started off with the lighter shades of each color, the squeezed lemonade, what's that, wild honey, spun sugar, and tumbled glass. I ink blended all over the panel with these colors. I clear heat embossed some of the images on the background, as you can see. And once that was done, I came in with the darker shades: mustard seed, spice marmalade, picked raspberry, and salty ocean. I ink blended over the heat embossed areas, or on all the areas over the same corresponding colors, and then just using a paper towel I rubbed away all the excess to reveal the lighter shade of the images in there. It is so lovely. It's such a lovely technique to do. I don't think I ever done this before. I really enjoyed revealing all those images. So then for my bow, I heat embossed 3 times with clear embossing powder on white die cut. This one in here, and before the last one completely cooled down, I just held it in this position to make sure that when it dries or cools out, it will be sticking away from the card. I just wanted to add a little dimension. For the layer underneath, I used the pine needles, and the same pine needles I used to stamp my sentiment, Christmas cheer, and I added the same green layer behind that sentiment. And I also cut a piece of card, white card, and inked up the edges with that same green. Finished off decorating with some white little pearls, and that finishes my card. So okay, so just to recap, this was card number 1, card number 2, card number 3, number 4, and card number 5. What a colorful set of Christmas cards. I really love this. Do let me know if you have a favorite of these, and if you would Tell me if you would purchase this kit to make some cards like this. I think it's very unusual. I don't think I ever had a 12 days of Christmas kind of themed anything in my stash. So this was definitely refreshing to work with. And the colors I love, as I mentioned before, and I will mention it plenty of times, I do love using non-traditional Christmas colors. And I love this colorful display of Christmas cards. Thank you so much for watching. Do leave me a comment below. And I hope to see you back soon with my next project share or tutorial. Until then, bye!